Good morning, guys. It's Elisa. I wanted to talk to you guys today about fear. I wanted to talk to you about what you're afraid of and give you a new perspective, honestly, on how you can look at this. I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and the speaker was speaking about fear and about courage and about bravery, which you all know is my jam. And I wanted to share with you guys the little takeaway that I had, share with you guys a few stories, and this is just gonna it might blow your mind, because honestly, it was blowing my mind this morning. So I wanted to talk to you about the things that we decide that we're afraid of. So often, right, we blame our fear on our past. So we say things like, I'm afraid of relationships because I got hurt in the past, or I'm afraid to trust God because of what happened in my life last, or I'm afraid of doing this thing or that thing because I got hurt or because it didn't feel good, right? And I think so often, you guys, we have this backwards. We think that our fear is caused by something that we went through in our past. But I have a great example to illustrate for you guys why I don't think that's true, why I do not think that our fear is actually caused. And let me explain kind of how this goes. So I know I'm up on my feet today, but this is just a lot, and I wanted to make sure that I got it out for you guys right. So I am standing and bringing the energy, because let me tell you guys about a soccer game. So for those of you who know me, you know that I am a soccer nerd. I don't love watching soccer, but I love playing it. And I started playing it actually when I was like 5 years old. I played through college, and in my final season of college soccer, I was actually the captain of my university's soccer team, women's soccer team, and I was nearing the end of a very important game, and I basically took a hard cut. And I felt something, you guys, in my left knee. I felt something go. And I was like, oh my gosh, that hurt so bad. I came off on the sideline for a minute. I kind of nursed my knee for a minute. And then I decided, you know what? I'm getting back in the game. I don't care if I'm injured. I am just going to play my heart out. Now stick with me. This does have to do with fear. I'm like, I'm just going to play my heart out, and I'm going to do it anyway. My team needs me. I'm going to show up. So I went back into the game, you guys, and I played hard, okay? I cut hard, I sprinted hard, I ran hard, I did everything that I could to bring our team a victory, and we did. We won that game, which was awesome. Now, a few days later, my knee was still kind of bugging me, and I went to the team trainer. And he took a look at it and was basically like, well, lucky you didn't tear anything, because if you did, you wouldn't be walking, but you did strain your ACL. So for you guys that don't know what that is, it's basically just a ligament under your kneecap that basically connects your thigh bone to your shin. So basically he's like, you strained that ligament, so that really stinks. And immediately, you guys, I thought about one of my high school friends who had torn her ACL in a soccer game back in high school. And I knew that she had gone through multiple surgeries. I knew that she was always in pain. I knew that it had been a big just struggle in her life since she had injured herself in soccer. And I could not stop thinking about that, you guys. So the next game comes around. I have the exact same injury as that first game, okay? The exact same injury, and yet I only went in for 10 minutes. And during those 10 minutes, you guys, I played like crap. I was tiptoeing all over the field. I was so scared of what could happen to my knee. I was so scared of what the injury that could happen that I literally took myself out of the game. And then I blamed my performance. When people asked, why did you come out, or like, what's going on? I blamed my performance that night on my injury. And looking back, I should have blamed it on my fear, because my injury was the exact same that night. In fact, it was actually feeling a little bit better than the first game, because I had iced it and done stretches and done the things my trainer had told me to do. So the second game around, I had only played down because of my fear. It had nothing to do with my injury. My injury was the same during the last half of that first game as it was during that second game, but I played like crap the second time because I was scared, okay? This same concept, you guys, applies to my life after Nick died. So you guys know that right after Nick passed away, Nick was my first husband, my late husband. He was diagnosed with a recurrence of cancer when I was 15 weeks pregnant with our daughter and passed away when he was 27 years old. I was 26 and became a widowed mom to a 9-month-old baby girl. And you guys know, if you've been following me since then, that I was very angry at God at first, ridiculously. And I mean, it makes sense, but I also pushed people away in my life. So people who are close to me, know this, but I pushed people away in my life. I stayed holed up in my house. I wrote all sorts of angry blog posts, and most of them did not go up on my blog. I was smart enough to keep most of that to myself, but I was pretty dang angry, and I blamed my anger and my distance on my loss. Okay, I blamed how I was acting on my grief, on my loss, but I should have blamed it on my fear. Eventually, I chose to look away from the fear, right? And now I try to live a life that's open. I try to love on people and breathe life into people that I know and people that I don't know. I give of myself all the time. I'm not perfect at it by any means, you guys, not at all, but I try, right? I try, whereas before I was so closed off. I love Jesus now. I'm back to a relationship with my Creator, but the only thing that changed, you guys, my injury in that situation, my loss, my hurt, my pain, my grief, none of that went away. None of that went away. But I let go of the fear, okay? I chose bravery and I chose love instead of fear. So I hope that those two options or those two situations illustrate what I'm trying to say here. When I talk about fear being a choice, this is what I mean, because brave people are not void of hurts or injuries or insecurities or grief or loss. You guys, we're not void of fear. Brave people, courageous people, we have the same hangups and the same injuries we had before we were considered brave. Okay, the only thing is that we've decided that we aren't going to let fear rule our lives. And that is the only difference between being brave and being somebody who's living out of a state of anxiety or a state of fear. Okay, it doesn't change. Bravery does not change what happened in your past. It's just the choice that you're using, the reality you want to live in. So I titled this video, "What Are You Afraid Of?" And I meant it. I wanted to know this, right? I want to know what you're afraid of. Tell me what you're afraid of. But also know that it's your choice if you want to live in that fear, okay? And that it doesn't really matter when it gets down to it. It doesn't really matter what you're afraid of. It doesn't really matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter what hurt has been caused to you. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's your choice what you do with it. And if you want to choose to lean into that injury, right? And lean into that loss, lean into that hurt, or if you want to lean away from that, away from the fear, and instead move forward with love and move forward with joy and gratitude for what you do have. So that's all I have. I thought it was worth sharing. So if you got something from this, please comment below. Please tell me. I would love to know if these videos do help you, and any shares or likes, of course, are helpful, just because I never know if this helps anybody when you guys see it. But I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope you will choose faith and love over fear and over insecurities. And I will talk to you guys soon. Okay, happy Friday.